Hello, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Cindy.
And welcome to Homeschool Roots. So today we're going to talk about the 5 biggest reasons to pull your child out of public school. A lot of parents are looking at this, especially because some schools just tend to be going way out in left field on certain issues. So more and more parents are very concerned about the values that are being taught to our children. And so we want to just go over 5 important reasons to pull your child out. Now, we also have a video on why you might want to rethink homeschooling. So we don't want this to be just a gut reaction. You're angry and you want to pull them out. We want this to be a thoughtful, prayerful decision that you have made to pull your child out of school. And we want to also give you reasons to pull your child out of public school, and why you might want to. So first, we're going to start with curriculum satisfaction. And the curriculum is the core of your child's education experience. So if you have fundamental differences about the curriculum, that's a big deal.
Yes. You want your child to be educated. That's why they go to school. You want them to know certain things.
Educated, not indoctrinated.
That's right, exactly. And, there are so many different curriculums. A curriculum was just written by a person like you or I that had their own set of biases and their own worldview. And if you are noticing that the curriculum used by your child's school or school district, if you're noticing that there are so many things that you don't agree with or that you don't think are age appropriate for that child, for your child, then I think those are legitimate concerns. This is not a personality issue. It is an issue about what that curriculum is going to be teaching. Many school systems will purchase curriculum from the same company, which means these concepts are going to come up year after year in ever increasing detail. And if you don't like it when they're in kindergarten, chances are you're really going to hate it by the time they get to 5th grade. So you should be aware of where the material is coming from, how it presents lessons of not only morality but of history. Even in English, is it a strong phonics program in learning to read? Are they going to teach basic math concepts where your child comes out knowing how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division?
Don't get me started on Common Core.
That's right, yes. And, so you should be aware of what materials your child's school is using. If you have grave concerns about that curriculum, that is certainly a valid reason to consider homeschooling.
And I just want to say that I know obviously for us, faith-based is really important. That's not going to happen in most public schools. It can't really happen in most public schools. But beyond that, you want to make sure that the curriculum fits the style of your child. And the way some of these schools pick the curriculum, it's not what you think. So for example, in California, there's a list that schools can choose from. And those companies spend a lot of money to lobby, we'll put it that way, the politicians to make sure that their curriculum gets put on that list. So it's not necessarily, these people painstakingly comb through every curriculum out there. It's the one that where the company it's pay to play, honestly, at least in California, for these curriculums. Next is uncooperative or secretive school policies. This is a shock to a lot of new parents who are just putting their kids in school, because you think that you pay taxes and they work for you. That's not how they see it a lot of times.
That's right. Many schools, they have all kinds of special emphasis times and special classes. Certainly in this day and age, we're hearing a lot about sensitivity training in different areas. And very often school districts don't make parents aware not only that they're doing it, but what materials they're using and how these classes are going to be run. Many parents think that the school has to get permission to do a lot of these things, and they don't. And even in this time of COVID, when so many schools have been teaching online, It is not unheard of for school districts to require parents to sign a waiver saying that they will not be present in the room when the child is on a Zoom session in class. I tell you, as a parent, I would be very concerned if the school tried to shut me out of my child's education, and I just would not have it. And that is a valid reason, I believe, to consider a homeschooling or a different schooling option. If you feel like that every question you ask is stonewalled, that you can't really get a good answer, you feel like they're avoiding your question, not wanting to give information, not inviting you in to look at the material or to speak with the teacher, to speak with the administrators. I'm not talking about just showing up at their door, make an appointment, but many times you may get the feeling that you're not welcome there and that they want you to send your child and then basically just go away and be quiet. If you get that feeling from your school administration, that is a very valid reason and a big red flag that you might want to consider some other option for your child.
It's true. I mean, parents are active less and less in schools, and some schools a lot of schools have taken advantage of that to be able to do what they want. A lot of them, they do think that they know more than you as far as when it comes to educating your child, and they see you as a nuisance. And that's not right. You're the parent.
Right.
So, and what homeschooling does is it shifts it away, the responsibility and the privilege away from them and onto you. So then you make sure that your values are being taught to your child. And I think as a parent, that's the best thing you can do, because homeschooling, it's not just about reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's about being able to teach your values. For us, faith was a big thing, but that may not be the case for you. But whatever your values are, you get a chance to make sure that your child has both sides, all the information, so that when they become adults, they can make their decision. But if they're constantly being fed or indoctrinated with this one idea, and they're not woke if they don't agree with this one idea, then they don't have a chance of ever having an open mind. So, all right. So next is going to be, and this is actually, I would think, a little lower, but it's important, is desires of your child.
Yes. I am a big believer in listening to your children and observing. And I'm not talking about a child that has a bad day and comes home complaining. But if you have a child that's crying every day before or going to school and coming home, if you have a child that just hates school, there's a reason for that. And you need to explore that. It may be other students, it may be an issue of bullying, it may be learning disability, it may be, there could be a lot of reasons, but you need to get to the bottom of it. Having friends is a big pull for a child to go to school. So a child who's saying, I don't want to be there, I don't want to go there, there's something going on. Do they feel safe? Do they feel like they are valued as a person? Is there something, what's happening at school that makes them dislike it? And I'm not saying on a whim that, today they had a bad day and they come home, I don't ever want to go back to that school. You need to explore and watch. Remember, we've talked before about being a detective with your child. Notice, pay attention, and talk to them, listen to them. But a child that is really desiring to be homeschooled, there may be many reasons for it. It might not be anything wrong. It may be that they know, maybe they're advanced, and they know that they would have time to study other things that they enjoy, as well as getting work done, and less busy work. There's certainly the opportunity for much less busy work in a homeschool than in a classroom where a teacher has to keep everyone busy while they bring up, the rest of the class to the same level. So listen to your child, and if they're just miserable where they are, there's a reason for that, and don't just hide from it. Don't ignore it. Don't just hope that, this has gone on everything was great last year for 6 months. It's been miserable. There's a reason for that. and start looking and don't stop until you find an answer.
But we do want to make sure you're not just pulling, for example, if maybe your child is the aggressor or the one that is having social issues with other students. If your child is the one that is having social issues or is the bully, and just you have to be honest with yourself about that. And so that there's reasons that there's socialization issues. That's why we don't want to we're not trying to say that homeschooling is a panacea to all of your child's issues, because we have said a few times, we do not want you just to teach your child that, oh, if I don't like something, I can just pack up my marbles and leave. So it depends. Like if it's because maybe your child was being aggressive and now the other kids started fighting back, and then now he's unhappy. Well, he needs to learn, or she needs to learn how to get along and not just using intimidation and bullying. So that's a really complex issue. That's why I say child desire. It's something that should be well thought out before you make that decision. Not just, oh, he's been crying, she's been crying for the last few weeks, what's going on? We need to make sure that we're investigating and that we're seeing what's really going on to see if homeschooling is going to solve that problem. All right, so next is the ability to tailor the curriculum to your child. This is one of the biggest advantages of homeschooling, because you can design a curriculum that is going to be best for your child, or when you buy a curriculum, you could decide when you do math. You can decide when they're doing English, and you can make that decision with your child and give them some ownership over what is happening. So I'd say the flexibility of scheduling is one of the biggest advantages of homeschooling. And if you feel that that is really important to you, then definitely that's a great reason to pull them out of public school.
Yes, and even more than the scheduling issues, if you have a child that's gifted in a certain area, if your child loves math, there's no reason they can't do 2 math classes in a year, or take extra math, or activities that use a lot more math, or the sciences. You know, if you have a child that just loves things related to science and biology, you can select even more curriculum for them to study in that area. As they get older, the opportunities expand even further. I know a homeschooling family whose son was interested in medicine. He became an emergency medical technician while he was in high school, took the training, the certification. Today he's a medical doctor, but he was an EMT when he was in the 10th grade.
Amazing. And who says homeschool kids don't get the same opportunity? They get more, I think. Yeah, okay. And then finally, and this is a big one, fits your family lifestyle and goals. I watched a YouTube where this family, they live on a sailboat. And so they're obviously going to be homeschooling. There's another family, they moved to Thailand and they decided to homeschool. We live in Vietnam, and so we decided to homeschool. So that's one of the biggest reasons. If you just want to travel and see the world and let your child have the experience, and obviously homeschooling is probably going to be your best option.
Yes, homeschooling gives you all kinds of options for travel, for your family schedule. If you already do live abroad, homeschooling allows you to return to your home country on your schedule, not in the summer months or when schools are on break. You can tailor make that schedule for you, and that it just works well with your family. And that's what it's all about. Your children, when they're young, you think that this is the way it is going to be forever, that they're always going to be so much work, but it will go by so quickly. And you want to make sure that you don't miss any great moments with your kids. And a lot of times homeschooling will provide those opportunities.
And you'll find that actually you don't need to spend as much time schooling as you think, because the public school day is designed to get a class of 26 kids to learn the same thing. Whereas if it's just you and your children, you can knock out some of these things in maybe 3 or 4. We don't recommend less than 4 hours a day usually, but I mean you have that time to really just knock it out, and you can go at your child's pace. If he needs more time with math, you can spend that more time. If they need less time and they want to start moving on to more advanced subjects, you can do it. So
very flexible. That's one of the beauties of homeschool, is tailor making it to fit your child and your family, and to have a joyful school day, not one where you're just struggling to make it through all the time.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Cameron.
I'm Cindy.
And make sure you like and subscribe to Homeschool Roots. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.